All right, 2008 Toyota FJ Cruiser. This one seems to be a Trail Teams trim package. There's some goodies around. Has a TRD exhaust, TRD wheels, rock sliders, a bumper guard that is mounted to the frame in 4 different places, and then the upper roof rack here. It does have off-road lights. Make sure you take those covers off so they don't melt. They function with the high beams. That's how a lot of factory off-road lights worked on these older models of the off-road game. Overall, really good shape. The paint's almost like vanilla ice cream white, you know what I mean? It's like white, but almost a little creamy. Tires are in really good shape. Drives great. Plenty of pick up and go. Brakes are amazing. Probably the best brakes I've driven in a while. Glass is all really good. Does have tint all the way around. Spare doesn't match, but it is the correct size. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, on the outside there's not a whole lot to talk about. It just looks good. No real dings, no real dents. There's, you know, on the metal here, like there's a little bit of blemishes on the metal parts. It looks like they've been touched up a couple times. I'll go back here so you can see a little blemishes, but where this mounts in here, hopefully the camera can focus on that. You see the rust there where it rubbed the paint? Definitely, I was saying at a different point on the video as well, we want to take those apart, put isolators in there so that they're not touching the paint and they're a little more shock friendly, and touch those up before they wear in. Boxy cars, moisture sticks to the back as you drive. That's why they give you wipers here. So think about the moisture getting stuck up in there. It doesn't help with that surface stuff. Again, rack, I'm not sure it was really ever used. It's in really good shape. No real chips or scratches at all. Paint's great. So we'll just keep moving forward here. Gonna go through the engine bay really quick. Main things here. There is a bit of like that scaling from climates that are a little more rusty prone, more moisture prone. But overall, like the body and everything's in really good shape. Camera might have a hard time focusing, so I try to use my finger, but frame and everything looks really good. All the pinch welds, all the factory stuff on the apron still exists. Nothing strange, nothing weird up in here. Brake fluid looks really good. Power steering looks good. It looks a little dark, but when you pull it out, it's pretty clean. It's just kind of how that goes over time. I usually say every 3 years, this fluid, brake fluid. A lot of modern cars are electric, so it's kind of getting harder to make those recommendations. Down here a little bit, you can see kind of like the surface rust on the hot spots, actual mild steels and everything. Battery looks newer. Filter's brand new. Belts and hoses all look really good. The one thing I'll say, I know a lot of people like to pull these and then look up in here and be like, oh, what's this like? You know, oh, some crud. Now, on engines like this, look how tall that is out of your valve cover. How rarely do you think oil is really getting sloshed up in there to keep it all moving? You're getting vapors trapped in here, and then they solidify with the cooling. So just clean that every now and then, and it won't do that. I'll pull this live on the video. The oil is doing what Toyota oil should always do. So clean, it looks like there's nothing on the stick. Turn it at an angle, you can kind of see a bubble on there. Put my fingers out. There, let me put it over here. There we go, you see it bubbling out. So, looks really good. And then, the only other thing I saw here, it looks like they kind of like, so this is like your main harness for the coils and everything. It looks like they kind of just tidied this up. On spark plugs, you got to take the upper off. You got to take the upper intake off to do that other side. And that's most likely like when that was done. I love that. I love seeing that. Someone who was in there tidied up what they were doing so that it wouldn't be a problem in the future. Everything looks clean, no mess. I like it. Been seeing a lot of messy wiring on cars lately, and this has none. So it's got this fuse connection in here. Well, that's about it. It's tucked, it's out of the way. There is a fuse, like I said. Struts work really good. Hood opens just fine. Real fast, I'm gonna set this down. We're gonna start it up. Alright, so as you can see, she fires right up. Doesn't even hiccup or hesitate. Same thing when I cold start it. It's very quiet, very smooth. You know what I mean? No vibrations. I don't put my hand on the motor. I put my hand on the body. What's the body feeling? And it feels good. It's got these clutch fans. It's quiet. Sometimes you'll get like the whirr when they try to wind up when that bearing's going out. It sounds really good. We're gonna stop here and just keep moving through the inspection. Alright, so for the undercarriage, I use this mirror to just give me better angles. First thing I always do is start front to back. Just let you kind of see if anything's been hanging, sagging down, dragging, skidding on the ground, right? Skid plate's in pretty good shape. We got a couple little marks doing its job, but overall fairly untouched. And then you can see here this front brush guard is mounted in 2 places on both sides, so 4 mount points into the frame, which is really nice, very sturdy. Nothing wet, nothing shiny. That usually tells me we don't have any fluids leaking out or anything like that. We're just going to kind of go to each corner area and touch base. This is going to be the front corner behind the driver tire, so you can see your secondary cats. So you have primaries up in the engine base, secondaries by the transmission, and then back to the muffler. Frame and everything looks really good. I do want to point out the rock sliders, they're not really steps but sliders, are mounted to the frame, not the body, in several locations. There is a bit of surface rust, mainly on like the mild steels and everything. I usually recommend like a good treatment with like a non-rubber based undercoat, so oils, or they have a few different ways to go about that. You can kind of see here that surface rust, but looking up, the body is clean, like really nice. All the sealer's still there and stuff. They got some extra stuff up in the wheel wells, so looks real good. Straight at the back, so another skid plate here. This does have a panhandle, or a pan hard bar, sorry, on the rear diff, and the bracket seems to be good. I know on a lot of these, when they start rusting out, that bracket is prone to break, and something that even happens on Jeeps. All the links look really good and everything, but like I was saying at a different point, I would recommend getting a good undercoat. The fluid that you see on the diff there, I believe they either serviced it or checked it and let some fluid run down. And then with the condition of the surface rust, that oil probably like moisturized and saturated that metal, so it'll just look like that for a while. And then your frame comes all the way back. You do have your hooks, no bends, no weird ripples or anything. This does have a TRD performance exhaust, so like a factory add-on. It's not too loud, but you definitely know that you're on throttle. When you let off, it's almost silent, but not overpowering, not drony, but definitely gives it some growl. Passenger side now, so again, looking at the body there, frame and everything. Exhaust, drive lines all look really good. Heat shields are all in place, no rattle. And then come up to the front. So transmission, you see the 2 plugs here. So one of them has like a small screw embedded into the plug, and while it's running, you let that out, not the main bolt, but the inside of the bolt, and it'll like let fluid out so you can get samples. And if it overflows out, that means it's full. It's kind of a fun system. And then you drain it the other way, fill it through that same plug that you check it in. Kind of fun. It should have been, I believe, done twice by now with this current mileage, so just double check your records on that one. I know AutoNation's pretty good about doing a lot of the maintenance stuff that's needed, especially on these fancy Toyotas. Skid plates all look really good. Bushing, suspension, all look great. We'll stop here. Alright, so this is going to be our interior portion. I always start here at the steering wheels. They tend to be pretty busy these days. This one just has radio controls and then cruise control down here. Steering wheel's in really good shape. Not much else beyond that. Mileage at the end of our drive, 137,053. There we go. I do have the e-brake set and all the doors open and my seatbelt off. So that's why those lights are on. This does have the factory radio in it still, works good. And then it does have the analog gauges, which are also awesome. They also work really good. And then down here you can see all the features this one's equipped with. Pretty good setup. There's a couple things that are not picked, but honestly you have, for the most part, stuff you're gonna need. We're gonna go from the outside in and just kind of blow this up. Alright, standing from the outside here, door cards are in really good shape on both sides. Still has the little stickers in it. And then manual seats both sides, but really good condition. Bolster and everything feels great. It's nice and stiff still. No carpet, but it does have these mats that are hooked in, and also really good shape. Floors on both sides. Back seats look like they were rarely ever used. And then this does have 4 of these head little sun visors. You can see where they had like their garage clipped into this one. But overall, headliner's in really, really good shape. Gonna pause here, hop sides. I really love these suicide doors. It makes it so easy to look at the insides. So again, door cards, very, very good shape. A little scratch here. You can kind of feel it with your finger. Manual seats, I want to add, they do have aftermarket heated seats that work incredibly well. I didn't notice them until I was like, why am I so hot with the AC making me cold? Glove box, dampers still there, wheel lock key. The 4-wheel drive, I love these knobs they put on here. The 4-wheel drive is actually really easy to engage. And then I just want to point out they have this lock box attached to the center console. There's a key included, so you can actually secure all your stuff. We'll stop there. Alright, so we're going to go through and do the rear. So this has a active damper. You go to a certain point and it just takes over, opens it the rest of the way. They do have some of the accessories, cup holder stuff, mounts, and these nets here. This is equipped with the subwoofer, and then it does have this Trail Teams trim all throughout the vehicle. So kind of a rare package on these. And then your jack is still in here with all the stuffs. Kind of hard with these, I'm gonna be honest, in the scenarios that these off-road vehicles normally get in. For those bottle jacks, I usually say upgrade. Seals and everything are in really good shape on this. Trims, plastics all look really good too. Doesn't look like it's scraped up or anything. There's a couple little light scrapes, but nothing major from loads going in and out. This looks like it's barely had anything ever said on it, so pretty much the theme of this vehicle. Just a couple little blemishes here. And then while I have this open, these little metal guards for the taillights, where they're mounted to the body, I don't think they did isolators, and so it's kind of like where it's rubbing with vibration is causing like the paint to chip and then surface rust. I'd probably take these apart, put isolators in them, treat the area, and then put them back together. You can see the paint is kind of bubbling a bit on these, so they've been touched up a few times. And then just like that. This doesn't have a backup camera, it just has the radar, so it'll give you like an audible beep. But we'll stop here. This portion we always do a scan on the computer and just go through all the modules. Only one had a code. It said current, but I didn't have any lights on during my drive. It's in the tire pressure monitoring system. It says transmitter 1 invalid data, and then it says that is the main transmitter. But like I said, I had no lights on during my drive, so I'm not sure why it says current. Typically the light would be on if there was a current, low tire, or some kind of fault, or it would even be flashing. I don't have any of that happening. So my thought could be low tire pressure in the morning or something. That's the only thing I can think of. I got here at like 9:30, so I'm not really sure on that one. But again, nothing active on the dash, just one current on the tire pressure monitor. We're gonna go off to our readiness real quick and then go from there. I do want to point out that the OBD port still had the original cover that covers it and to keep it sealed. I just like to say stuff like that. especially on an 08. I mean, come on. Get this thing to focus here. I always do since DCCs have been cleared, not just the drive that I've done. That's just history since like anyone's been in the computer. All green checks, looks good here. VIN over here, I always make sure that this VIN is exactly what's on the door, and what we're supposed to be inspecting. All checks out good. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up. This drive is really good. Probably the best brakes I've had in a long time. Even with the knobby tires, no real road noise. Drove really nice. Steering is really good. This one does have the 4 high 4 low. It does have a rear locker and active slip control. Overall, with the accessory package, I don't think there's something they missed. You got the brush here, frame mounted rockers here, guards on the back, extended spare, roof liner. The off-road lights come on with the high beams, so I kind of set those up. These covers are like a little bit rubbery plastic, so you want to make sure those are never on there when you turn those on. My goal is just kind of make this look alive. Plenty get up and go. I love driving these. The exhaust is pretty nice. As you see, it's really quiet. As you get going though, it kind of gives it a good growl. And then with your concerns, this is a US 50 state compliant vehicle. It does have the catalyst sticker and everything in there. And then as far as the rust, you do have a minor amount of surface rust underneath the vehicle. I usually say like our area is pretty prone to that. We could do like a really nice undercoat and make sure it's not rubber based, make sure it's treatment, make sure it's not covered up. Treat the rust, then put a treatment on there, a good undercoating, kind of just solve that. I know the Tacomas are really plagued with it, so I just want to stay ahead of it on this. It looks like it's been kept really well. I wouldn't be too concerned with it. Nothing really flaking or any kind of that other crap that the Tacomas went through. Paint, everything's immaculate on this. Interior is great. I give this one almost a perfect score. It's a really good car.